got some permission to stream this on Twitch, so hopefully I'm not breaking any laws. Okay. I'm not sure when it was made. I know it's been in the works for a while. It's not like a feature length, I don't think, but this is just what I got sent, okay? This is my inside scoop. Apparently it went to film festivals and stuff, so I'm gonna watch this video and see how it.
The altered image of one Canadian man is going viral for all the wrong reasons.
It was called Gamergate.
You can see the original photograph
Veerender,
of the
Jubbal.
gentleman who's actually holding
Now, an edited photo causing terror
represents two very different things.
A simple photo
Support say it's about
itself
harassment
doesn't
and ethics in video
picture
games.
that's being
It's
edited
almost
from
harmful.
Shaqiri
told me about threats of death.
Harassment.
I forgot to put it on screen again, didn't I? Okay, here we go. Restart. We're restarting, okay? We're restarting. It's okay. It's okay, everybody. I'll put it up. I'll put it up. It's fine.
Viral for all the wrong reasons.
It was called Gamergate.
You can see the original photograph
Veerender,
of the
Jubbal.
gentleman who's actually holding
Now, an edited photo causing terror
Represents two very different
A
things.
simple photo
Support say it's
itself
about harassment and ethics in video games.
that's being
It's almost harmful. told me about threats of death.
Harassment.
My name is Veerender Jubbal, and I am a writer and journalist and a critic in regards to media and entertainment. I consumed at least 50 hours of entertainment / media per week while I was a child, because children of color consume the most every single week, at least about 40 hours average wise, and they rarely ever see characters that look like them. I never did. When I played Pokemon at 6 years old, it was impactful in the sense where they asked me, "What's your name?" And then they show me the character that I'm gonna quote-unquote be, and I didn't look anything like that. At that moment, at 6 years old, I kind of cemented and realized that I would never be a hero.
Aw, thank you very much for the raid, everybody. I appreciate that very much. We're watching a documentary that was sent to me by the subject of this documentary, actually. So, welcome, raiders. I hope you enjoy the stay, and make yourselves at home, okay? I'm sure you're all very handsome and or cute, okay? By the way, my name is Jack. Riverboat Jack. I'm a politics streamer, and I mostly talk about socialism and how based and awesome it is. You told them not to embarrass you. Well, I have faith, SJW 9000. I have faith in you, okay?
I started.
By the way, is this loud enough for everybody? Thank you for the follow, something birdie. Okay, yeah, it is loud enough. Okay, good. And away we go.
Learning more about comics, seeing that it's the most diverse medium at the moment or in general, and there's so many different types of characters like Ms. Marvel and Kamala Khan. It's very important and has changed myself in the past 2 years. She looks like me in the sense because of skin color, but not religion or anything. And she herself idolized characters that are nothing like her, because she herself doesn't have characters that look like her. her power involves shape-shifting, and she thinks it's better to just have white skin and blonde hair. But then she fights those ideals and actually continues to just keep her skin color even though she's a shapeshifter. It's super important to me in that sense. It got me into comics, and now I support them every single month.
I also play games such as League of Legends, Heroes of the Storm, competitive games like card games and stuff.
But video games are garbage because I get harassed on the internet because of my opinions on them.
Also, Deposed Dumpling, thank you very much. I appreciate you greatly. And thank you for the follow. I also appreciate that greatly. Fun fact, everyone, we've now broken 400 followers. We're sitting at 401. I feel like this is a pretty big deal. My goal, yeah, exactly, right? Like at the start of a month ago, I had 100. So we have tripled our community in the span of 1 month. Let's keep that energy going forward. Let's just keep exponentially growing, okay? Well, okay, I did turn down Nightbot. Nightbot isn't as power hungry anymore, okay? Nightbot isn't indiscriminately banning people who use caps anymore, and or using multiple emotes. It's okay. It's okay. I have extended the threshold that Nightbot keeps a watchful eye on. Okay, only the gravest of abusers will be slapped with Nightbot. You know, the silent watcher, our dark knight. I'm amazed that you seem to have create the exact type of content I would generally watch anyway. You know, I just have a very special power of content creation, you know? I've consumed everything that is good, and then I iterate on it to make things that are better. Patrick, hello! Dogs are great. You've arrived at the 400 club. Moose. We got Cat Jam. You guys can have Cat Jam. I think I was the 400 club. I got bad news. Biden's winning. Dang, guys. Biden is winning. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Joe Biden. Are you talking about Joe Biden? Joe Biden is winning? The horror. Whatever will we do when the socialist uprising begins and they come to purge us from our homes? You mean Sleepy Joe? Yeah, when they say Sleepy Joe Biden, it means he's a sleeper threat, you know? Relevant meme in Discord. There are always relevant memes in Discord. What are my political views? I'm a market socialist, my dude. I love talking about politics. Today I went hugged a tree so that liberals and hippies lay off my back. You know what? That's a good move. Honestly, it's good to have your back covered, you know? And nothing will help you more when the communist hordes are at your door than having allied yourself with the Ents, you know? The long anticipated socialist revolution. Yes, Joe Biden's he's actually a revolutionary socialist. He's trying to capture the state via use of force, and then he's going to violently transition us into a socialist utopia. That's actually his long-term plan. It's true. It's true. You hugged a tree for 1 minute. You know, tomorrow you might need to hug it for another 5. Just to make sure. Just to make sure. Joe Biden is officially the most electable man in history. 73 million votes, more popular among blacks than Obama. So popular that the far left hates him as much as Trump. I wouldn't say that, my dude. Loxley, I am a member of the far left. I do not hate Joe Biden as much as I hate Trump. I'm Joe Biden. Joe Biden's fine. He's a milquetoast neolib. We're used to those, okay? He's closer to 75 million now. That's gosh darn impressive, guys. This is what we get for riding with Biden. We're riding with Biden. All right, let's continue watching this documentary about my friend who got harassed for years and had to go into hiding, okay?
As a journalist, you have to network, you have to get your name out, and I started doing that with Twitter. And more people I had that were listening to me and following me and being my friends. I knew at 17 I had something that I could talk about.
Just so you guys know, I know this guy personally, and he is the biggest sweetheart I've ever met on the internet. He's like just a giant good dude, like obscenely nice. So just bear that in mind.
About that nobody else could. In the start, it was just mostly just characters of color and trying to be more inclusive on those aspects and being very adept at them. Like when Far Cry 4's official Twitter tweeted out the picture of the cover, and I kindly said the box art is racist, and that, like, I was like super nice about it. And then from there on, myself and other people started talking about it here and there. I just had about 1,000 people in 10 days harassing me, like morning till night.
Deposed dumpling. Hold on to that question and remind me of it, because I want to finish watching this video first. But that's a really good question, and I would be happy to answer it. I've just interrupted this video so many times, and I wanna properly respect this story, okay? But very good question. So hold on to it, put it in your pocket. We'll get around to it again, okay?
Make up more stuff. Then there was IGN, and then I just started hating IGN after that point, because 4 white dudes on a podcast talking about race and video games, the way they were talking was obviously at
Makes them
me.
uncomfortable. They don't like it. I mean, what's your response to them?
Play a match 3 puzzle game and stop telling us that video games need to mature.
These are people I looked up to as writers, and I thought people I look up to kind of treating me so badly, and it was just the most ignorant and most garbage stuff, because like each of them have grown up on like video games, but they don't see like the race issues.
Well, my response to people like that is, if you think this is a problem, the world is going to destroy you.
Hey, it'd be nice if we weren't somewhat racist. Wow, you overreacted to this one. The world's gonna destroy you. But it'd be nice if we weren't racist, though. Like, come on now. By the way, as somebody who has run a video game podcast for literally like a decade, like, I totally understand this kind of stuff, which is why, by the way, I would have people on my show like Kazuma Hashimoto, who Justice Kazi over here on Twitch. You should go give him a follow. He's fantastic. He really knows his shit. And he's really, really good at talking about video games and media analyses. You can find these people out there. So there's really no excuse to be having a podcast in gaming where you're going to talk about race as a concept, especially if you're like a multi-million-dollar company. to not bring on someone like Veerender Jubbal. And that being said, it's especially shitty that even 4 or 5 years ago, like, people couldn't, like, even these people who have made it, like, they're being paid, they have a salary to talk about video games. These people don't get it. They just keep talking about, oh, you're a special snowflake because you can't handle that this box art perpetuates some really racist ideas. Like, maybe hear out the person instead of just making wild assumptions about what they're trying to say.
Gamergate started in like August. It basically boils down to a movement in harassing marginalized people. But at the start, it was specifically women. I said some things about it. Had a lot of people just like harassing me and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna take a Twitter break. And then about October rolled around. Everyone was very saddened. And it was maybe like 2 or 3 months of Gamergate. Kind of like don't want to fight anymore. Then I thought I want to do something about this. So I made the hashtag StopGamergate2014 and went viral. That's when a lot of people coined me as a blue lantern because of hope. And then I had people drawing art of me as a blue lantern. I was kind of known as that from thousands of people on the internet, which is very endearing and very nice. Harassers also started photoshopping, so they would Photoshop my face on Twin Towers stuff, or even my blue lantern avatar on things. In 2015, the one that went viral that I assume everyone has pretty much seen is me taking a selfie, looking like super good and like doing it up, and then having that photoshopped with me. This was around the time for the Perez attacks. There were publications that actually used that. If you Google my name, that's what you're gonna see. You're gonna see hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of different articles talking about the same thing. And it's not in a positive light. Even if it's people saying, hey, he didn't do anything wrong, it's still putting the focus on me. On December 24th of 2015, I got a gun threat. I went on Twitter at that point. I'm like, hey, can you please report this tweet? Because it doxes me. Entire address, phone number, picture, that sort of thing. Postal code, city, exact. Everything was exact. I had police officers come to my house just to make sure I'm fine and I'm safe and I'm all right. The thing I say is, like, I'm used to it, but nobody should be used to that sort of stuff.
That's when the whole argument of the internet isn't real is completely wrong, because it does have real world consequences. Such as how I can't leave home alone because people wanted to murder me. I'd have super heavy anxiety. I'm trying to slowly get outside the house by little gradual exposure steps.
And guys, I just need to remind y'all that all he did was basically say, hey, could we maybe not be racist? And stop Gamergate 2014. That's all he did. As a brown person, as a brown man who wears a head covering. That's all he did. He's an extremely, extremely nice person, and I have the utmost respect for him. And by the way, this is when this is why when Gamergate comes up and people try and like talk about, oh, you know, like, well, there were some people who were, you know, in it for good reasons. No, fuck that. Fuck that. I personally saw many of my friends get threats, get harassed, and I have to tell you guys, Veerender is not the first person who I have seen run out of the gaming community because of these people. He's not the first person I've seen who has had to go into hiding and has feared for their life. I have had to personally go online and keep watch on places like Kiwi Farms and 4chan to make sure that bank info wasn't accidentally leaked. I've had to make sure that my friends aren't getting credible threats to their lives on these places. This is one of my friends literally had to change her name in order to get on with her life. She had to change her name because of these people. Yeah, like this is why. Well, actually, like Archangel Decab, this is why I say anyone who downplays the importance of media in our lives is talking from a place of privilege, because media is incredibly powerful, right? Like, guys, I'm gonna tell you, this is why I got into English. This is why I went in to study English. This is why I went in to study history, okay? Because there are two important things that we all tell ourselves, right? It's the story of how we got to be where we are. That's the story of history. And then the stories we tell ourselves of what we want to be or what we could be. And that's fiction. So, to my mind, English and history encompass both of those things. If you tell the right story to the right person at the right time, you can change the entire fucking world. And if you think I'm, like, being hyperbolic about that, just think of how many people have literally lived and died for the sake of Christianity, right? For the sake of that narrative, without any tangible proof that it might be true, you know? Think of how many millions, if not billions of people have lived and died on this planet with their lives completely shaped by one narrative. Right, or capitalism. You know, capitalism is a story that we tell ourselves. To a certain extent. It's true. And these stories can sometimes take on so much power that they shape our lives, that they shape our society, that they shape our world. And so, like, when we're talking about stuff like, oh, it's just a movie, it's just a game, it's just words. None of these things are just anything. We're playing around with incredibly powerful and important tools that have enabled humanity to drag itself out of the primordial muck and make something of itself. So, when we're talking about narrative, when we're talking about media, when we're talking about the stories we tell each other, these things are incredibly important. And you can see that, by the way, in the way that reactionaries lash out against people who want to, in some small way, challenge existing narratives. Right? You can see it in how the earlier in this documentary, the guy who talked about the guy who was talking about how the world's gonna fucking destroy you if you think that this box art is racist. Do you think someone says that when they're not like powerfully motivated by the stories that they intake? It was it's a real problem, right? Like this is why, by the way, when these people talk about like oh man, you made a black character and they go apeshit about it, it's because on some level their narrative is threatened, right? So this is why I am firmly of the opinion that these stories are actually important, right? Because not only do we on some level intrinsically know that these narratives are important, but the people who lash out through their reaction prove to us that these narratives are important, that these narratives shape them, shape their lives, and by extension, shape our larger society. That's why they're afraid. That's why you ever think it's weird that the right constantly focuses on the culture war? Do you ever think that's weird? The reason is they, on some level, or at least some of their, talking heads, I know, ironic, coming from me at the moment, but it's because they understand that narrative is important and that the stories we tell one another about those narratives are really important. So, yeah. Sorry, I just get really passionate about this because I've firsthand seen lives of people that I care about destroyed utterly, completely. And it's just very infuriating to me because so many people don't seem to understand the significance of this, you know? Deposed Dumpling. I was active in Gamergate. I lobbied journalists, powerful Jewish groups, and people controlling major advertising budgets. I was threatened by fascist groups in Greece and Austria, but guess what? I have Jewish, Irish former friends, former Royal Marine Commandos, Irish Republican Army, united on this. That's good. Though what do you mean by powerful Jewish groups? Your phrasing's a little bit odd there, but I think you mean well? Question mark. But anyway, let's finish this up.
I still love getting to talk to people, and I love getting to see the types of books they have, or just spend time, or talk with friends, or even support some new stuff, or even read some new stuff. It's always exciting and fun.
What a sweetie.
So, one of the most recent comics in regards to having a Sikh main character is Super Sikh. This is what I've
That
wanted
looks
for
dope.
so long.
Not
Just
gonna lie.
a main character that actually looks like me. This is me going to a comic store in 2016 and I'm seeing myself finally. Out of all these comics, there might not be any other Sikh character right on the front, but at least there's one. There's one, and that matters so much to me.
Hey, Lumberjanes. A man with good taste. Hell yeah. I love that picture. This was great. I would watch a longer version of this with more stories or yeah, this was great. I'm gonna tell him it was really good. What'd you all think? Aw, I agree something, Birdie. I agree.